It was a quiet Saturday morning when I received a call from the HOA. I was in the middle of feeding my livestock, but I could tell something was off by the tone and the voice of the woman on the other end. "Hello, this is Jennifer from the HOA," she said in a forced, polite tone. "We've received a complaint from one of the neighbors about excessive noise coming from your farm stall. It's disturbing the peace of the community, and we need you to take care of it immediately." I blinked, confused. Noise complaints? From my farm stall? I looked around at the barn, the animals grazing peacefully, and the land stretching around me. There was nothing out of the ordinary. My farm was as quiet as it always had been. My neighbors, whom I had known for years, never complained, and everything was well within legal limits for agricultural activity. I asked her for more details, and that's when I found out that Karen, one of the more troublesome residents in the neighborhood, was the one behind the complaint. Apparently, Karen had recently moved in and didn't like the sound of the animals in the morning or the occasional clink of metal from my farm stall when I was working. The idea of someone complaining about the noise from animals on a farm seemed absurd. I reminded Jennifer that my property was zoned for agricultural use, and there were no restrictions on the kinds of noises I could make during the day, particularly given that farm life comes with its own sounds. But Jennifer wasn't interested in facts. She told me that unless I took action, I would be fined, and possibly even taken to court if Karen escalated the complaint. I hung up the phone, shaking my head. There was no way I was going to let this go. I knew my rights, and I wasn't about to let a single disgruntled neighbor dictate how I ran my farm. So I called up Greg, my trusty lawyer neighbor, and explained the situation. Greg was already familiar with Karen's reputation. She'd made other complaints in the past about neighbors' dogs barking too loudly or children playing too noisily in their yards. He told me not to worry. Agricultural zoning laws were very clear, and Karen had no grounds to demand that I shut down my farm stall. The HOA couldn't simply dictate what kind of activities I was allowed to do on my own property, especially when I was well within my legal rights. We decided to take action. The next day I went to the farm and documented everything. I took pictures of the stall, recorded the noise levels with a decibel meter, and filmed my animals in their pens, showing that they were behaving peacefully. Then I contacted the HOA and asked for an official meeting with them to resolve the issue. If they were going to accuse me of disturbing the peace, I wanted a chance to explain my side and show them that there was no disturbance. When the HOA scheduled the meeting, I showed up fully prepared. Greg joined me for the meeting, and I made sure to bring along every single document and piece of evidence that proved I was in compliance with all zoning laws, agricultural regulations, and noise ordinances. I also had testimonials from other neighbors who were more than happy to vouch for the fact that I had never caused any disturbances. Karen, of course, was present at the meeting. She didn't seem to care about facts or evidence. She just kept complaining about the noise and how unpleasant it was. She tried to paint me as some kind of nuisance, but I didn't let her get away with it. I turned to the board and presented my case. I explained that the farm stall had been in place for years, long before Karen moved into the neighborhood. I also pointed out that agricultural use allowed for certain activities, like the noise from animals and farm equipment, during certain hours of the day. The law was clearly on my side. I also reminded the HOA board that I had full legal backing, and if they attempted to fine me or restrict my farming activities, I would not hesitate to take the matter to court. I had the law, facts, and support of my neighbors on my side, and I wasn't about to be bullied by a single complainer. The meeting didn't last long after that. The board reviewed the evidence, and it was clear that Karen had no case. They dismissed the complaint and apologized for the inconvenience. They assured me that they would address Karen's unreasonable complaints and inform her about the legal boundaries of agricultural property use. As for Karen, well, she didn't take kindly to the outcome. But her grudge didn't matter. I wasn't going to back down from something that was legally mine. A week later, Karen came over to confront me. She asked if I planned to keep making noise and demanded that I shut down the farm stall entirely. I calmly told her that I was fully within my rights, and if she had a problem with it, she was welcome to take it up with my attorney. Karen quickly learned that messing with a farm owner with legal knowledge and community backing wasn't a battle worth fighting. After that confrontation, she stopped bothering me, and I carried on with my farm work, free from the worry of her complaints. In the end, it was a victory. Not only did I win legally, but I also made it clear that I wouldn't tolerate anyone trying to push me around. And from then on, whenever someone tried to take advantage of the HOA rules or make unreasonable demands, they knew better than to mess with my farm.